Next on the list is artist pens. You can buy really expensive artist pens, and I don't have enough of these per person, so it's kind of first come, first serve. And then I'll be honest with you, most artists tend to go with the Sharpie. It works just as well. It's a lot cheaper. It's just kind of personal preference. With the artist pens, you can pick another box that's kind of complex with a lot of different shapes and areas. And I want you to experiment with the different ways to do texture. You might feel more confident practicing this on a scrap piece of paper first before going to your artwork. So the first thing that you can do with artist pens is something called stippling. It's really important that stippling is just making dots. It's not making hash kind of lines, and it's not jabbing the pen into the paper. You kind of have to start, and then you have to have really good music or something to listen to. Your other option is to do cross-hatching. Cross-hatching can be done with single hatch lines, or it can be done where you actually physically cross the lines. You can crisscross and go any direction. There's no kind of right answer. And then the third option is some people call this random scribble, some people call it gesture, but you start and then you just, wherever your hand goes, it's not controlled, you aren't thinking about it in it, it's totally a random scribble. So when I put that into my space, with the hatch lines, I want you to practice kind of a bigger area, because one of the problems that students have with hash lines is understanding that you're not drawing across the whole space, but you're taking your paper and you're twisting it as you go. You'll notice I always start on my edge. And I'm purposely trying to make it go from dark in the center to lighter on the edges, or kind of in the center, I should wait. Dark on the edges, lighter in the center. I said that wrong. And a lot of times it bothers students to have something so free, and so it does take you a while to get used to it. Then the stippling, you want to probably pick a small area. I recommend starting by stippling your line and then pulling your stippling out, and not trying to do a really dark value, but stick to something that's light. And then with the gesture, again, I want you to try having an intense black somewhere and then being willing to let that line come out, but also learn to pull off of your pen so it makes less of a mark. You will notice that my gesture doesn't become bigger. It just becomes kind of stretched out as I work. Once you are done with this box, you will take your eraser and you will erase all of the pencil lines so that the only border is your pen. And very important, you do not go and put a hard line around everything once you are done.